Hi, it is April 5th and it's day 23. And sorry about the video yesterday. It was going good. I was in a good flow. Then I remembered that I actually was cooking a little dinner and it wasn't rain, the sizzling noise I was hearing. It was the pan burning. So, anyways, I meant to hit pause and there you go. Um, Such is life. Today was today was a good day. It was I say it like that um, because we're so ingrained, and me too, even though I've been working on it for decades and have let a lot of it go, in not sure the right word, perhaps being a little impatient or perhaps focusing on something a certain way, and if it doesn't come that way or we think that's the way that it's absolutely there, and it comes in even better over here, we don't look at it. But that's not actually what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that trusting is so much has so much more complexity in a very simple, easy flow. So that actually does not contradict itself. So in order to be in flow as a creator being and creating what you want. So, for instance, me moving on from here, changing everything in my life, everything. And because I have this deep, unshakable knowing that what is out there for me, that I have put out there for me, and is coalescing and coming into this amazing cohesive structure for me, is cosmically delicious. I absolutely know it. Do I know exactly how to get it? I haven't got freaking clue. Some moments, and other moments I know, yeah, I stay in my heart and I do this. So I'm taking again that balance between the energetic, the frequency, the heart-based, which you can measure. It's measurable with the way that if you measured my brain waves, if you measured my rhythms in my heart, rhythms in my sinus rhythm, and all of the electromagnetic field of myself. So it's all very tangible. But because, I'm stepping away from working, I don't know, how many bazillion hours a week and taking a week and a half or 2 weeks to keep rescheduling a PTO day to finally get it, sort of. So I put in all sorts of effort that way, but that's not, and it never really worked, not only just for me, but for other people, because there was always a treadmill. Anyways, what I wanted to focus on that was really lovely and poignant for me today is that that's never been a way that truly works, because all of us, the balance of all of us, no matter what the pay, sphere that we were in, the income sphere that we were in, and no matter the work or relax or fun quotient, it was never an all-inclusive thing, no matter where you were in the strata of all of that. And it will absolutely not work now, because the energies have so far changed. Not only is this, to use a phrase, not only is this not just was 2020 not just another 4-year election, but this is the changing and the total unwinding of every system, every structure, every sector of everything in not only civilization on this planet, but in other realms, because everything is being expanded into a whole new energetic and a whole new octave of all that was in various mixes in creation, and that was in the pre-matter templates. So here on the planet, the old things, even if they kind of worked, or we told ourselves they worked, or we thought, well, at least, I've got a job, and not, that was a phrase, well, at least I've got a job, I should be grateful for that. And something else, well, yeah, our job was being out of balance. That was our job. That's a simple way to say it. And now, as I was saying yesterday, that it's not an intellectual exercise. So we have to trust ourselves. We have to trust in our knowings. We have to trust enough to be in a peaceful state, and that doesn't just mean sitting around oming all day long. Far from it. We have to be in that trust that if we take 5 minutes to do this, it will equate to the doingness, the linear, toiling or chasing down job leads or this, that, the other thing, to hours and hours and hours and hours of that. If you're just going to weigh a scale. And it will be inspired action that will come from that 5 minutes. And so you'll know, don't bother with those, go right to that one, because you're going to like it, or like it enough because it's the stepping stone for the next thing. And that's how it flows. It's how it works. So that's why there is really quite lovely and delicious complexity to the whole feeling and practice and embodiment of trusting yourself, all of you. So you and the shirt and all of the rest of you and your guides and your soul and your heart, that your heart's desire, wow, that would be so fun or cool or interesting or exciting, whatever that is, small or large, that steers the ship, but in a holistic way, meaning all hold of all energy facets of that which is you, which is the touchable, tangible, which is the pre-matter. So it's amorphous and it's not formed into energetic. It's the flow in between those two. It's the interconnection where you're asking for guidance. You're thinking, oh, I wonder how you can language it all different ways. It doesn't have to be asking for guidance. You can just say, wow, I'm ready to get, a little luck here. I'm ready to, get a little intuition, or, I get a good gut feeling on that. Whatever the languaging is, it's yours, it's unique to you, and you're the expert for you. So today I was having this, that's why this is so fun for me to play with, this whole beautiful kind of vignette of how beautiful it is to really pay attention to notice, to be connected to be in a dance with, trusting, period, full stop. Trusting what? Trusting myself in the shirt, trusting my senses, physical senses, my sensory array, all of the other senses that come, trusting my nudges, which are coming from my soul, often trusting a thought, or so it could be, sometimes it comes in where I had a thought, and when I say it like that, it's the thought had me, the thought was thinking me, my guides were coming in and just gently putting a thought in there, and I could have it or not. I could say, oh well, yeah, that's kind of interesting, and play with it or not. So the free will choice is there, but that's part of the guidance. That's part of the way it comes in. A lot of beings may resonate with what I'm saying. Oh yeah, theirs comes in this way, or this way, this way. It comes in a whole myriad of different ways. And if one is trusting, one is noticing, one is tuned in, and in that heart space, they can hear and feel and sense and see and know over the that's your mind. You know, 4 o'clock in the morning, you get up and you do a video at 4:30. You know, so that you can feel and hear all that. And when you do that, you really are in this beautiful dance. And sometimes it's flowing and it's moving and it's very subtle. Sometimes it's much quicker and there's a two-step and you have a thought and it's just given by your guides or something, and you see something or you play with it and you go, and it takes you down. And now you're kind of rumbling along. And then you have, maybe you rumba right over to a square dance, and you've got partners, and you're going in. I forgot the languaging, but you're going in the rounds and it's going around the thing because new bits and pieces of information are coming. And if I'm in a space where I'm in the mind head swirl at 4 o'clock in the morning, I can't feel, sense, or any of that, and I sure as heck can't enjoy the dance. And so watching it, observing it, and dancing in it, and leading or following in the various dances. So that's what their complexity and the beautiful symmetry and flow that is within that. So today, and a lot of these pieces were coming up. I was talking about it, yesterday, with the light shining and everything unfolding, and just getting in that space and not being an intellectual exercise and flowing with all the nuance of that. And so today was a bit of not culmination, but kind of the fruits of all of the trusting and the flowing and knowing with that, and asking and guidance and information and data coming in. Either I'm actually hearing it audibly in my being, I'm getting a sense of it, I'm getting downloads of information through videos. I may be getting, geometric codes and stuff. I could have someone walk up to me and say, I was thinking, I saw X, Y, or Z, or this might be helpful for you. And whether it's, a lot of times it's completely out of the frame of the way that they would speak. It's completely out of the frame of the way they might notice something. And they walk right up and they say, I thought about this. And I love it when that happens sometimes, because the person's kind of going, I don't know why I said that, but it seems like a good idea. So it's very clear in a very fun way that it is a direct nudge. It's a direct resource. It's a direct, my soul in essence is walking up to me in the position of that other person and bringing this forward. Because sometimes, I say, pretend I'm not connected, and I need a really loud, really obvious, really neon flashing something to come to me. So, and it's a lovely way in cosmic humor that it comes at. So today those things were starting to happen. I had the day off, and I went and had to do some banking things, because since I'm going to be traveling a bit, I have to kind of set stuff up with not tell them that I'm not coming back to the state, but right now, but to set things up so that I don't get, when I'm trying to use my debit card, because I'm, in a different part of Washington state, or I'm in a different state altogether, whatever it is, that they don't say, oh, well, we shut it down because of fraud protection and it's just me. So I was doing some of that stuff. And then I went to the truck camper top place, and they put on the top, and I think I'll put the thumbnail, make the thumbnail the whole truck you can see with the camper top on it. And from the gentleman who owns the place, it's a family business. It's been in business for 42 years. They make their own line of camper tops, and then they have other ones. It's just a show. but the whole experience of that, and kind of the conversations that were going on there, and the way he was talking, the fact that when it was all set, I paid, but I paid with the company card because this was being given to me again out of the blue, and the way all that of that worked out, the fact that this guy actually had the model, make and model exactly specific to my truck in stock, even though it's an older one, and that it's gray, which is, in the family color of what my truck is. All of these different things. So now they were all laid right out in front of me because other people are coming in, or I can hear them talking on the phone about, no, for that 2019, Ford, it's going to be 12 weeks, or it's going to be this, and all these different things. And no, we don't have anything. And okay, yeah, you're 2022. Yep, we got that, or whatever it is. So, I mean, and I was there for an hour and a half, I think, a little bit longer. And it was just constant, either people walking in the door, taking, or, him on the phone. And so I thought, well, that was really showing me what a very lovely, rearranging of matter, of tangible, touchable things to come forward. And that was gifted, and I, someone else funded that thing. So I brought that to me. I brought that to me through creation and flow. I brought that to me through the tangible effort. So again, that balance and all of those things, the tangible effort of working here and all that kind of stuff. So that was a lovely thing to happen. And then another thing that came through, and I again started this yesterday because I trusted me enough that I was worthy of trusting me enough. And my dream is spectacular just because it's my dream, and how it will connect with other people. And so I gave voice to what I would like, and asked if my friend would help me, if he would take an hour or so out of his time, which he has no time, and do this. And he that was yesterday morning, and we both worked all day, and we played with it, and then we ran my dogs and his dog in the evening, and talked a little bit more about it. And he's like, oh, come on, just don't you want to just buy everything? I said, yeah, I'd love a home, but with all the funds and everything else, it just won't work out this moment. This is not my choice, but I'm going to go with it. And if you could help me build this little thing in the back of the bed, which every moment I look at it gets smaller and smaller, at least it would be above absolutely miserable, and it would be doable for a very short period of time. Especially if it was just me, it'd be one thing, but it's me. Xander's a big boy, even though he's a puppy, and Keegan and Rose. And so he said, yeah, okay. And so then the the arrangement was, well, he could, maybe when I got back middle of the day, he might have a place in work, he could do it. No, he's going to be busy. So what if I met him at 4? Now I know he's a fireman, he's actually assistant fire chief, so this night is a busy night. They've got to go do all sorts of training and stuff. So the window that I had him, that he was giving me all of his time in between, putting a little on the work time. And so very generous, and very, very, loving to do all of that. And again, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, this is terrible. You're going to hate this. You're going to stuff it. How can you do this? Because he finished up the night. So I'll say what we did, and then I'll have you finish up the night. But and so we sketched it out. I said, I just want simple, I just want it safe, so it's not going to fall over on the dogs or anything, or the cat, that there aren't going to be splinters, and that it'll be sturdy, but it can be easily taken out and dismantled. It'll be useful when I have my travel trailer, then I can have storage or other things. Or if I want to leave the trailer because I'm going to go up in a place I can't take the trailer, and we're going to go hike, we want to sleep overnight or something, it'll be like a fun sort of thing. And so the idea was just to make a cot. I think it's 26 inches, well, 24 inches wide is the width of the single mattress. So I got a trifold, well, I'll get one. mattress, and the bed is inside the tailgate's only 66 inches, so it had to be shorter. So I think we ended up making it 63 or 62 or 63 inches long. So it's a really good thing that, I'm short because I don't have to bend my legs too much, and the length of me would get there. It's funny, when I was looking at the 3/4 inch plywood on the table in the shop when we were making, I thought, looks a lot shorter when it's laying down on the table. Anyway, so we worked together, and we got just squeaked it out in the few, 60 minutes or something that we had. And it was fun. And again, there was that trusting, because I had this lovely thought and had called it forth because it was coming to me, and was envisioning that the travel trailer would be here, and my friend would, show me how to actually, I've watched and studied and everything, but how to actually go to a dump station, and we'd rig up, some pretend gray water and black water and all that kind of stuff in the black tank, and do that. And so just a fun way to spend an afternoon with a friend and show me how to do all this stuff. Didn't get to do that, may still, yeah, but didn't get to do that. But instead, so we weren't at a dump station, but we were talking about and rigging up this little bed, and the frame, it's just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood with two leg pieces, and then it sits on the cap, and with the cap on, with the way that the ledge is made, it has a good firm rest on the thing, and there'll be a little return, so it's kind of, I'll show you a picture of it tomorrow or so, but it's got a return on it, so Rose can have her food dish up there, or when we're not driving, and just room on the floor for big heavy totes that can hold stuff. And given it's a tiny space, it's a very good use of tiny space. And when we all stuff in there and close the door, we ought to keep ourselves really warm with, the four of us in there, and whatever. So it was I used to do carpentry a lot. I used to rehab houses. And so it was a nice way to do a project. I'm sanding, he's doing this, we're working together. We're kind of, he's saying this is his measurements. And I said, yeah, but we got to do this. And you forget about that. He says, yeah, no, that's good. I forgot about that. So it was a nice dance with that. And as we, then I swept up, putting all the tools away, and I said, you run off to your meeting, and I'll take your dog, and we'll go run. And so you get a chance for dinner, and I'll be here for another hour with him. We'll be all set, and then he could just sleep in the bedroom, and you'll come back from your fire meeting and chill for the night. Your dog will be all snoozy, and it'll be good. And so he gave me a hug, and he said, now I did this, I helped this for you, but you have to promise you will not live in that truck for more than 3 months. And I said, that's cool. It's not that I'm dying to live in the truck, but this will give me a way to just continue to trust. This will give me a way to be in the flow where, is it what I had envisioned? No. Is it anywhere near the different roles are playing out? No. Is it doable? Yeah, it's actually doable. Will I have to remind myself a lot of moments of the day that I can do this, and that my knowing of what's coming is there, and that all this stuff is flowing? Maybe at the start, and I think there'll be moments where I'll go someplace and I'll look out in the evening, and I won't have all the stuff that I'm leaving here, and it'll be lovely. And that's one of the things I said to him. I said, I'm happy to have it only be a month or so. But you can see, look at this little tiny thing, this little tiny thing is the bed. And in the, that I'll sleep on with the dogs and everything else. And you can see that, and you can see what a stretch it will be for me. And that shows you how I had to leave, because even choosing, it's a pretty place, right? But it was it just was diminishing me into nothingness. So I choose this because I have that knowing and I have that trust. And this will be my leaping point to move to something so spectacular. But in the supposed comfort, and it's a tiny house, but it's a house. And yeah, sure, you work all the time, but yeah, but it's this pretty view in the mountains and stuff. And I trusted that perception of comfort, that perception of a security of a job, all those kinds of things are just the illusion, which is all breaking down. So for me, it was the wonderful end to 23 days, and there's so much more to come, but of really stepping into a living, breathing, sublimely beautiful dance of trusting and knowing, owning and claiming that I'm a kick-ass creator being, and trusting again that, well, this time playing with my friend and doing some stuff to get me ready to go on my way didn't quite, come forward the way I thought, but it was fun. And it made me think of different things and I've done throughout life. And we were chatting, and he spent a lot of time in Wyoming working on a big ranch there, and um, taking out, what, week, 2 week, month-long trail rides and camping and all sorts of stuff. And so it was fun, and just being and connecting and having him be in connection enough, even though part of him's going, holy shit, you nuts, right? But not going into any of that, and just being positive and saying enough of his piece at the end about, I did this, but I don't want you to, right? And that's all set. And even though sometimes I'm out there and sometimes I'm, spooky or whatever is part of the intuition, he gets it more and more because he has more of a sense, because I've been talking about what is coming, and he'll know it when he sees it, of the unwinding and unbinding. You wake up to that, and then the wonderful stuff that's coming next. So it just was a lovely vignette, and there's more to come of, this is how you do it. This is whatever the it is, whatever the heart's desire is, whatever the plan or the thought or the big thing, medium-sized thing, or a bunch of little things, or combination of all of those, of manifesting, materializing, taking delivery of it, trusting through the whole experience. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. And when you're in those parts that are a little rough, or if something's breaking down or not quite showing up the way you thought it was, notice the loveliness in it anyways. Even if it's, you got mud all over you, or you're wrestling, or this is uncomfortable, there is wonderful stuff there, and you're talking to yourself all the time. You're communicating. You are in this beautiful dance of this communication, and the perceived things that are not turning out the way you thought they would, or scripted that way, or breaking down, or you get a camper top and that's delivered, and someone pays for you, and you wanted the travel trailer, but you're all moving in the same direction, because you're not, for me, the metaphor is, I'm leaving this job. And yeah, there's a big thing about, okay, well, what's going to replace that? Just keep trusting. And sometimes you're not avoiding something, you're just letting it sit aside for a moment, so you can have more space, you can have more connection, to have more things come in. So it's a dance, and you can't think it into being. You can't do these intellectual mind gyrations into being, because that old false construct where they kind of, let's face it, the only kind, even at whatever your income, you know, um, levels that you generated through own business or investments or working, for the man or whatever it was, they only kind of worked because there was never a holding of each being in that. And yes, someone just said, well, the Illuminati, no, there's no holding in them either. There may have been gobs of money or something else, but there's not that balance. There's not that fullness of God, we are amazing beings, each one of us, whatever it is that we're looking at, we're playing with, that we're being, that we're creating, even if one has a perception of that's really, evil. There's still that richness to it, that complexity, that amazingness of that life. And no longer can we hide from that that beauty, that amazingness, that rich, full spectacularness of that. And if you're not cluing into that yet, just wait a nanosecond, because you think things are, chaotic now, you ain't seen nothing yet. And you think things are crumbling and the old is breaking down and not working, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you think, things are chaotic and a little, disjointed and what did that person just say? Or, what is happening now? You ain't seen nothing yet. You have not seen anything yet. And the way to navigate it and move through it and shed all of that stuff, all of these lies and deceit and everything that is an anathema to the truth of who we are, which is love absolute, source incarnate, absolute fact, is to go through it, to trust, to notice, to be all of it, and to dance with it. And yes, it's going to be a little different with a lot of similarities and very specific differentiations for each being. But we're all of a piece, we're all of the same source, and we're all these beautiful, rich, complex, marvelous singularities. And we're dovetailing and playing together in a myriad of ways. So not only is the best yet to come, the best is already here and getting better and better and better. And we create it. Trusting and noticing and owning and claiming who you are and then stepping through it. So day 23 was different than the scripting, but it was a really fun day and a small glimpse of what I need to move through. But that knowing is getting bigger, the trust is getting stronger, and it's magnificent. I love you.